Hello, are you all able to hear me now? Good afternoon. So, you guys can hear me now, right? Okay, good. So, yesterday we stopped with nouns. Today we're going to go a little further and read pronouns. Okay. Now, in today's class, my aim would be to cover as much grammar as possible. Not only pronouns, we'll go further as well. So, yes, please try to listen to this class carefully because it's only grammar. You don't need to note a lot of things down. I'll give you this PP at the end of the lectures, anyways. Okay. So I have planned 6 classes for grammar totally. Uh, so Suraj has given us a schedule for this week. I'll be sharing that schedule with Mr. Grease soon. Okay. According to that schedule, tomorrow I'll be taking statements and assumptions with you. So I want to know beforehand how many of you have already attended statements and assumptions class with Mr. Suket. How many of you have already attended statements and assumptions class? You can just raise your hand if that's okay. Okay, so a few of you have not attended, but a lot of you have attended this class. Okay, all right. Okay. All right, let's start our class with pronouns. I hope all of you are fine. And yeah, did you guys study grammar yesterday? Did you guys read the nouns after the class is done yesterday? Because grammar is something that you'll forget very easily. It's something that's very easy to understand, but it's something that you can forget very, very easily. Right? So please make sure that once you go back home, or obviously because you're home, so once the class is done, just read that part of the class that you made notes of once again, because obviously you're making notes only of important points, right? Okay, without any further ado, what is a pronoun? Now, we have all seen what nouns are, and in nouns, we've seen that there are any names that we can give to things, people, I don't care what it is, anything that I'm giving a name to, I don't know a name of, that's becoming a noun for me, correct? Now, why do we use pronouns and what are pronouns? Pronouns are basically words that replace nouns. Okay. And what is the exact necessity of using a pronoun? Let's say Ram is a good boy. Okay. He is good or he is a good boy. Now, in this particular example, that word he is basically telling us about Ram, right? That word he is replacing Ram, correct? Yes. So, why do we need to use that? Because Ram, according to me, is a 3-letter word. Yes, Ram is 3 letters and he is 2 letters. So what, to save that one extra letter, I am using this pronoun, so what? That's not the only reason, and this does not really make a lot of sense, but where it makes sense is when I tell Ram, Shyam, Modi, Amit, Shah, Jagan, I don't know, all these people are, you can fill in with whatever adjective you want to, the adjectives that I want to use, I can't use here, but yeah, you can fill it with whatever adjectives you want to use. Okay. Now over here, whenever if I want to say about all these people, okay, again and again, I'll have to write so many names, right? Yes. That is why we are replacing all of this with something like they. Okay. So that is the real purpose of a pronoun. Pronouns are used instead of a noun or another pronoun. Okay, for example, Ram has a bike. Okay, he loves riding it. His bike is monstrous. Okay, so this it, his, all these are pronouns. And see, one pronoun is talking about a noun, whereas other pronouns might be talking about other pronouns as well. So a pronoun is something that replaces either a noun or another pronoun. Okay, basically pronoun means for a noun. This is one point that I want you to remember. Look, because to me, I don't understand a lot of complex definitions. To me, a definition needs to be extremely simple. Okay, if I have to complicate a definition, why am I even defining it in the first place? Right? So, to me, pronoun means for a noun. Okay, what does noun mean? Name. Clear? Okay. Now, to be very honest, there are 7 different types of pronouns. I would not expect you to remember all these 7 types, but I would definitely expect you to understand all these 7 types. Okay, I don't care even if you forget the names of these 7 types, because in your CRT exam, in no exam is he going to ask you, which type of pronoun is this? Okay, but he'll definitely ask you to correct errors. Okay, and there are 3 types of errors that you get in pronouns. One is a pronoun misplacement error. Okay, one is a pronoun dangling error, and the third one is a pronoun replacement error. Okay, so you have 3 different types of errors in pronouns, and almost 20 to 30% of all sentence correction questions have a pronoun error. Either in pronouns or in verb tenses, they have an error. Okay, so this topic becomes just that much more important for you to understand clearly. Guys, are you guys able to follow me? Am I going fast? No, right? Guys? Okay, cool. All right. So yeah, look at these few examples. These are just few examples. I will elaborate them. Okay, the 7 different types of pronouns are personal pronouns, empathetic or reflexive pronouns, demonstrative pronouns, indefinite pronouns, relative pronouns, interrogative pronouns, and reciprocal pronouns. Now, you don't need to remember all of the definitions. All you need to do is try to understand what does this first word mean. Okay, let's look at what the meaning is, and then I'll go into slides where I'll show you these pronouns in action. See, personal means referring to you. Correct? Empathetic or reflexive means referring back onto some action. Okay, demonstrate means to show or to point. Indefinite means not particular. There's no particular thing that you can show. Relative means showing relation. Interrogative, questions. Reciprocal, noun to action and action for noun. Okay, so these are a few basic definitions of how you could remember the different types of pronouns. All right, now let's go ahead and look at each of these types in detail. Now see, your personal pronouns should refer to a specific person or a thing, and these change its form. See, this point is extremely important. Obviously, all of you know this point already, but this is really important for you to understand. Okay, now why do they change their form? Why, if I'm asking you the question why, the answer to that point is over here. Okay, they change their form to indicate a person, number, gender, or case. Now remember, when we were looking at nouns, we could divide nouns into a few parts, right? Now, a pronoun is only replacing a noun. So it's like a shadow onto a noun. So if this noun has three parts, pronoun should also be able to cover all the three parts, right? That is why we are changing the part or changing the form of a personal pronoun according to the person or number, gender, and case. Okay. Now, I don't want you to note all these first person, second person, third person. I'll show you just one single table, this one. Okay. Uh, Sirisha, is my voice audible now? Sirisha, am I audible now? Okay, you can text me later. But okay, anyways. So this one table is what I want you to remember. Okay. Now, see, in Anglo languages versus Indian languages, we have a small difference in terms of what is first, what is second, and what is third person. Let me just make a clear demarcation over here. Let us say Indian languages, and this is Anglo-Saxon languages. Okay. Now, in Indian languages, the first person, the most important person, is the third person or the how do I say, someone we are talking about. Okay, it's someone we talk about. All right. However, in Anglo languages, first person is me, or to be very honest, I. I am the first person. Second person is simple, same both places. Someone we are talking to. Okay. Here also it's the same. But third person again in Indian languages becomes I, and in Anglo languages becomes someone you are talking about. So imagine you have person A who is, talking about a person C to a person B. Okay, and person C is somewhere else. Now, if person C is somewhere else and person A is talking to person B, I'm in a class, I'll have to call you back. If person A is talking to person B, in this case, if you are taking the English terminologies, then A is first person, B is second person, and C will be the third person. Okay? But if you're taking the Indian languages, this guy is the first person, he's still the second person, and this guy becomes the third person. So now I hope we are clear about who and what is the actions that are being done in English and in Indian languages. So with respect to that, we have to understand our personal pronouns. Okay. So in English, if you're why like that difference, I have absolutely no idea. I just know that there's a difference like that, but Pratyush, I actually don't know why there's a difference like that. I know there's a difference. Okay, because I've studied Sanskrit, I've studied German, Spanish, and English. I know that there's this kind of difference, but why is there a difference like that? I don't know. So basically, in Spanish and English, you have it in the Anglo-Saxon way, whereas in German and in Sanskrit, the roots and everything is very similar. So that is, I don't know again if that's the correlation that I have made or if it's actually that way, in the literary sense. Okay, but this is what I've observed. Okay, look, I'm sorry, but I can't just tell anything randomly. Okay, if I know about it, I'll tell you about it. If I don't know, I'll just accept that I don't know the difference. Because see, it's better than me telling you something wrong, right? Yeah. Okay. Now, anyways, so yeah, in the first person, when we are doing singular, okay, it'll be I, Now, this I is in what? It's in the subjective case, right? What about this me? Me is in the objective case. How am I able to tell this? I'm saying I am eating rice. Yes. Or rice is being eaten by me. So look at this over here. This is the object, no? And over here, I is the subject, right? So that is how I'm saying. Now this mine and my are possessives. Okay. So that way we are defining all our personal pronouns. If you remember it this way, you will understand the actual theory of grammar, so that you understand the whole logic of grammar. Why are you doing? What are you doing? And why should you not do some things? See, a lot of people, have this problem that they have not studied English grammar for very long, because of which they do not understand how to construct sentences properly. And they think that their communication skills are weak. But no, guys. Trust me, I've taught classic Tamil medium students also. Okay, and this class of Tamil medium students, it's not graduate class. It was a very basic class where I was freelancing. I was doing a lot of, how do I say, I was just going around schools in Tamil Nadu and teaching people. Okay, so I've taught second, third standard students also of Tamil Nadu with pure Tamil background, and trust me, they also understand English better than us. Okay, so the only thing that I'm telling is, if you understand what is happening and why it's happening, you'll be able to form sentences within no time. You only have to believe in yourself, and you have to give it some time. You have to give it like at least 1-2 weeks for it to work. Okay, now, in plural, again, we will become subjective, us objective, our and ours possessive. Similarly, you, your, yours. Now, if you look carefully, since in both the type of things, there's no difference. Okay. Similarly, when you're talking about singular and plural also, in your second person, there's absolutely no difference. Okay. All right. Now, what about the third person? Third person, he, him, his, she, her, hers, it. Over here again, he subjective, right? Him objective, his possessive. She subjective, her, what should be? It should be objective, hers, possessive. What about it? What about this it? It is the same in all the two things. It's both subjective and objective. Okay. It is a good class, no? It's a good pen, right? So over there, it is becoming a subject, no? So that is what you have to always take examples, Nana. Whenever you are trying to form anything, take an example to form with it. Then you'll be able to see what is happening over there. Okay. All right. Let's move forward. Now, this is where I want to tell you a small thing about what are possessive and what are contractions. Okay, possessive personal pronouns like, excuse me, mine, yours, hers, his, all of these, they show us a sense of belonging. Please remember, these pronouns do not take an apostrophe. Okay, why is my pen writing this way? Just give me one moment. Yeah, please remember, these pronouns do not take an apostrophe. Okay. However, when we are having a personal pronoun, something that's taking an apostrophe. Okay, Durga Bharadwaj, I'll tell you what is subjective, objective, and possessive. It's okay, no problem. That's completely fine that you're interrupting me. Okay. See, it's all about your doubts. No, see, if you guys can understand grammar, I'll be the happiest person, man. So don't worry. Look, let me say that Ram is good boy. I'll tell you what contraction is, Monica. Just wait. I'll clear the doubt of Durga Bharadwaj and then I'll come to you. Okay. So Ram is a good boy. Now, if my name is Ram, if I think that my name is Ram, I can say I am a good boy. So here Ram is the subject, no? So I is replacing a subject noun, no? So this is also a subjective pronoun. Okay? So take different examples and follow this through. Then you'll understand what is subjective, objective, and possessive case. All right? Now, coming actions are, Monica, these are contractions. Look, a pronoun should be yours, meaning belonging to you. Okay? The contraction, when I'm saying this means you are. Okay? This does not mean it belongs to you. Okay? So these kind of mistakes, a lot of us do in sentence correction. A lot of us, and you guys might think, who will make such a silly mistake? On multiple accounts, I've seen CAT students make such silly mistakes as well. Okay, it's not that you guys make a mistake by yourself because you don't know. It's just that you overlook things. Okay, so please remember these. Okay, ITS is belonging to it. IT apostrophe S is it is. There and they are. So these are the few differences between pronouns and contradictions. Okay. Now, moving forward, sorry for this header. This header is wrong. It's going to be reflexive pronouns. Okay. Yeah. So when self is added here, when self is added to any of your personal pronouns, they become reflexive pronouns. Why? Because they are telling you about the action done by the subject upon the subject himself. Okay? No, Harshita Goli, whose is an interrogative. That means a question. Okay? Whose means who is. Okay? For example, whose dog is it? Means yavari kukkadi. Okay? Now that I cannot use with this. Alright. If I say who is dog it is, first of all, it is wrong sentence, and if it means anything, it's asking you who is the dog amongst all of you. Okay. So unless you want to get lynched by people, you should not confuse amongst these two things. Okay. Guys, I think I'm being clear, but if at any point you're getting any doubt, yeah, please feel free to text it up. Okay, yeah. All right. Anyways, so as I was saying, in this, there are two important things that I want you to remember. Oh, I removed all the ink from the slide. Okay, yeah. So first thing, if you add self to a personal pronoun, it becomes a reflexive pronoun. Second thing, they're called reflexive because the action is done by the subject on the subject itself. Okay, for example, I hurt myself. Okay, now who hurt him? I only hurt myself, no? So నాకు నేనే కొట్టేసుకున్నాను కదా, సో నేనే యాక్షన్ చేసి నాకే దెబ్బ తగిలింది కదా, అందుకు అది రిఫ్లెక్సివ్ అంటారు. Sirisha, is my voice audible now? Guys, I think there's some net issue on your end because most of you are able to listen to me and some of you the voice is going away a little bit. So maybe the net issue, there's a signal drop or something. So please be patient. Even Zoom, when it has a lot of participants, no, it overdrives. So the voice goes slower. It's basically a signal matching doesn't happen. Okay. So just be a little bit more patient. You will get my voice. Okay. All right. Anyways, now one important thing that you guys need to note in this is that when we are using reflexive pronouns, the object and the subject refer to the same person. Or okay, that means the subject and object are the same in these kind of sentences. Is that clear? Okay. Now, what are empathetic pronouns in that case? Well, if you look at the empathetic pronouns, this will definitely be an important part of your, CRT journey. Empathetic pronouns emphasize their antecedents. Now again, anti is before, seed is to go or happen. So something that happens before it is an antecedent. In other words, it is the noun. Okay. For example, look at it. I myself cooked the food today. Okay. I could have also told I cooked myself. I cooked the food myself, right? Yeah. I could have also said I cooked the food myself, right? Now over there, what is happening? That's becoming reflexive. Myself is becoming reflexive. But over here, what am I saying? I myself cooked the food. Correct. So what is happening? I am trying to emphasize, okay, a little bit more onto the action done by the subject. Okay. So empathetic pronouns are identical in form to the reflexive pronouns, but just the meaning is a little different. Okay. Now, one important thing that I want you to note over here is that empathetic pronouns can never be standalone subjects. Okay, they cannot stand alone as subjects. That means myself saw him do it is very wrong. You should say I myself because I will be your subject. Okay, sometimes you say myself, sometimes you hear people say myself, Praddy, and all. No, this is wrong. Okay, you only have to say my name is Praddy or I am called Praddy. Okay, you can't even say I myself am Praddy. I mean, what are you trying to emphasize in that? Right. Wait. So I have a lot of questions. I'm sorry, I didn't see the chat for a very long time. Just give me 1 minute. I'll answer all your questions. So Abhi asked, he himself cooked the food. In this, we have two pronouns, right? Uh, yeah, sure. Why not? He is a personal pronoun. Himself is like a empathetic pronoun. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so your question is, are there two pronouns? Yes. I cooked food for myself. Yeah, sure. Why not? But that's again going to be only a reflexive pronoun, Nana. Can that sentence be written as I cooked the food today? I mean, see, it's not going to be making the same sense. Okay, both are very different. Okay, both are very different, Nana. Kameshwar, both are different things. Yeah, this is Praddy can also be the right thing. Is which is a pronoun. So Venugopal, I'm going to try to understand your sentence as you're asking me which pronoun kada. Which kuda pronoun nana. అది మనం ఇంకా చూస్తాం ముందుకెళ్తూ ఉంటే చూస్తాం ఓకే alright alright let me go forward. The next class is called as demonstrative pronouns. As I told you, demonstrative means they should be pointing or referring to something. Okay, myself, I went to movie. No, that is wrong. Pratyush, that's wrong. In empathetic and personal pronouns are always followed by reflexive pronouns. Yes. As a rule of hand, you can take it that way. In empathetic pronouns, personal pronouns are always followed by reflexive pronouns. Yeah, myself is a pronoun or not? Yeah, myself is a pronoun, Nana. It's a reflexive pronoun, no? See, my is a personal pronoun. You're adding self to it, so it's becoming a reflexive pronoun, no? Prithvi, is that clear? Here, I and myself are two pronouns referring to the same person. Yeah. I and myself are two pronouns referring to the same person. That's why it's empathetic. Okay, anyways. Now look, demonstrative pronouns are used to point out objects to which they refer. Okay? Because this, that, these, those, if you look at these, in this class of things, this and these refer to things that are closer. That and those refer to things that are farther. Okay? All right. But these are all going to be demonstrative pronouns. For example, this pen is near me. Okay, over here, I'm using this as an adjective. Okay, why? Because this is telling me which pen it is. So it's becoming a demonstrative adjective. But if I have to use this as a demonstrative pronoun, okay, I'll be saying pens are on the table. Those write with ink. So here those is talking about pens. Okay. So where are the pens? They're on the table. So I'm pointing to which pens are on the table. No. So there it's becoming a what? Pronoun. Okay. So please don't get confused. If you're ever using this pen is near me, that's going to be an adjective because this is telling you something about pen. Which pen is telling you, no? So that's becoming an adjective. Okay, all of you? All right. Next, we are learning about indefinite pronouns. Now, in indefinite pronouns, these are pronouns that refer to people or things in a general way. They do not talk about any particular person or a particular thing. I really want you to remember this. They do not refer to any particular person or thing. So we have a few, we have one trick for remembering these, and these are known as the Sanam words. Okay, so this stands for some, all, none, any, most. Okay, I think there's something wrong with my screen. One side of it is writing very blunt and the other is writing sharp. Huh, interesting. But anyways, that is not the point. The point is these are the Sanam words. Okay, so look over here. Most of our examples are anyone, anything, right? So like that, when we are adding one thing or body to these words, we get indefinite pronouns. Okay, why are these indefinite pronouns? If I say someone raise your hand on the group chat, someone raise your hand. I'm not telling which person has to raise hand. No, yeah, 4 or 5 people are raising hands. But am I telling you only you people should raise hands? Guys who have raised hands, have I told specifically to you people to raise hands? No, right? So when I'm saying someone, anyone could raise hand, no? That is why it's called as a indefinite pronoun. Okay, good. Now let's come to relative pronouns. Yeah, I want you to read these sentences carefully. I know that the boy who is coming, okay, or I know that boy who is coming. Bring me the letters which the postman left. Okay, bring me the letters which the postman left. This is the house that Jack built. Now, in these sentences, if you look carefully, that which are all going to be relative pronouns. Why? Because they are showing relation between what? The pronoun and the noun. Also, they are doing another part. They are joining the two parts of the sentence. Look, they are joining this part of the sentence to this part of the sentence, correct? Yes. So relative pronouns also act as conjunctions. Okay. This is one important point you have to remember in this part. There are 5 relative pronouns. There are only 5 relative pronouns. There are not more than this. Who, which, that, whom, and whose. Out of all of these, that also is a demonstrative pronoun. Okay. Is that clear? All right. What? Abhi, are they similar to conjunctions? Yeah, they are similar to conjunctions, Nana. They are acting like conjunctions, no? When? No, when is not a, okay. So your question was about when as a relative pronoun. No, when is not a relative pronoun. You might be thinking that, I passed school when I was young. Over there, those two are phrases, so you're doing it, but that's not going to be a relative pronoun. No, no, no. That becomes again an adjective, Nana. Anyways, so interrogative pronouns. I think I don't need to explain this because this is very easy. Okay, but I'll still go ahead and tell you about these. Interrogative pronouns are very, very simply anything that's used to ask a question. Okay, now they are very similar to relative pronouns in the sense that they act like conjunctions. Okay, they are very similar because they also act like conjunctions. Now, one thing that I want you to remember in this is to form compound sentences with any of the interrogative pronouns, you're supposed to add suffixes like ever, whoever, whomever. Okay, so to any of your interrogative pronouns, if you add in the suffix ever, okay, it's going to form a compound. All right. Okay. Now let's go forward. That's all about pronouns, but I still have 15 minutes, so I want to go forward with adjectives. I hope that's all okay with you people. Do you want like 2 minutes to ask me all your doubts about pronouns? Okay, the time now is 4:13. Please type in all your doubts about pronouns, and then we'll go to adjectives. Are all the interrogative pronouns relative pronouns? No, it depends. If you're using it to show a relation between two things, then yes. Monica, I hope I answered that question. Yeah. Chandrasekhar. So I know that he's going to Chennai. In this sentence, that is acting as, oh, okay. So I know that he is going to Chennai. Yeah, here it's not a pronoun, Nana. In this part, that is going to be a demonstrative adjective because that is symbolizing or that is telling you something about him going to Chennai, no? But it's not replacing any sentence. It's not replacing any noun, no. Okay. So now can I start with adjectives, guys? Okay, cool. So yeah. Now read the following sentences. Shruti is an intelligent girl. Yeah. Now, whenever I'm starting a new topic or whenever I'm telling you about a new topic, always remember, guys, to me, the rules should be very simple. If my definitions are not simple, then I should not be studying those definitions. Okay. So to me, adjectives, very, very simply. Oh, where's my pen? Yeah. Okay. So adjectives, very, very simply, are any words. Are you able to see things on my screen? Are you able to see my writing on the screen? guys? Yeah, okay. So adjectives are any words that tell me something. Okay, anything it should tell me. Anything is fine. Something about a noun. Okay. Now, what can it tell me? It can tell me anything. What kind of a person it is, how many things are there, how much it is there, anything you can tell me. But you should tell me something about a noun. Okay? Is that clear? Now, usually adjectives answer the question what kind, how many, how much. Okay? For example, if I'm telling you, look at this sentence, sentence number one. Shruti is an intelligent girl. Okay? Now, girl is a noun, no? Yes or no? Now, what kind of girl? Intelligent, no? So, we are telling something about that girl, no? Yes? He gave me 5 mangoes. Mangoes is a noun, no? So, we are telling something about these mangoes, no? How many mangoes are there? So, 5 becomes an adjective. Okay, similarly, if I am telling I am a man. Okay, now how many man am I? I'm only one man. A is telling me about the number of mans I am. So this also becomes an adjective. Okay, so yes, spoiler alert, articles are also adjectives. Okay, am I clear? All right, let's move forward. Now, these are all the different kinds of adjectives. Again, my whole contention is not about you remembering the stupid terminologies. My contention is about you understanding what it's doing. Okay? But I don't want to skip out anything, so I'm going to show you the whole matter anyways. Okay? So, yeah, different kinds of adjectives are going to be descriptive adjectives, which means they describe a noun. Okay? So, they answer to the question, what kind? Then you have adjectives of a number or quantitative adjectives. So these are also known as qualitative adjectives. These are known as quantitative adjectives. Okay. Now, the third type is known as demonstrative adjectives. As I was telling you in the previous exam, in the previous pronouns type also, I was telling you that there'll be something called as demonstrative adjectives. So that is telling us which person or thing, that means which noun is mentioned. Okay, this, that, those, these, all of this. When we go into detail now, I'll show you the difference between demonstrative adjectives and demonstrative pronouns also. Okay, now the fourth type is possessive adjectives. These tell us whom something belongs to. Okay, possession means belonging, no? That's right. For example, my, mine, his, your. Now, do you remember his, my, all these were personal pronouns also, right? So from here, what do you understand? In English, unless you see the sentence, never decide what part of a speech it is. Okay, because everything in English will depend on how you are using that word in that sentence. It does not depend on what that word is. Okay, a lot come up to me and they ask me, sir, what part of which part of speech is this word, sir? What is this word, sir? And all. Can this word be a noun? Can this be an adjective? It can be anything. It can be anything depending on how you're using it. Okay, unless of course it's a name. If it's a name, it's only going to be a noun. But otherwise, there's a multiple possibilities. Okay. Now, if you're not looking at all the possibilities, you're not actually being inclusive of anything. Okay. So please take this to be a genuine suggestion. Okay. Always read sentences, break them down. I will explain you how to break sentences down in the next class when we are doing verbs. Okay. So when I'm teaching you verbs, I'll teach you how to break sentences down. Okay. But yeah, please make sure that you are breaking sentences down and understanding them. You are not blindly following the dictionary definition of what a word is. In dictionary, that guy will give you that this particular word is an adjective. That's not always true. Okay. Sometimes that word can also be used in a different fashion. Okay. Anyways, the fifth type of adjectives are interrogative adjectives. Again, extremely simple thing. They're used to ask questions. Okay. Now, over here, there's something that a small contention. A lot of English speakers have a doubt in this, and they should also have a doubt in this because it's very confusing. Okay, so interrogative adjectives. Whenever you're seeing, any sentence where you want to determine if it's an interrogative pronoun or an interrogative adjective. Okay, see the contention is between interrogative pronoun and interrogative adjective, how to determine. Now, there's a small rule that I have noticed, and this works for 99.99% of cases. Again, why don't I give you 100% assurance? Because, well, sometimes it just doesn't happen that way. Okay. So, interrogative adjectives are immediately followed by a noun. Okay. If they are not immediately followed by a noun, they are going to be considered as interrogative pronouns. For example, look at this. What is your name? Here, what is telling us or replacing the word that should be of name. Okay, so that is why what is going to be your pronoun. But if I ask you, what color is your favorite, or basically which color is your favorite? Okay, so over here, this is a noun. Since it's just following it, this which will become, or what you, if you want to take what, it will become an adjective. Okay. Someone has asked me a doubt. Prahlad, words ending with adjective suffixes like al, ous, are they not always adjectives in any sentence? Uh, can you give me like a few examples for this? Prahlad, just please be kind enough to type in a few examples for this. Because if you're saying OUS, IOUS, all of these, they come again from the roots, Prahlad. Okay, for example, tenacious, veracious, voracious, all of these are going to be adjectives. But they're not adjectives solely because of OUS and all. Okay, they're adjectives because of the root word acious, acity, okay, tenacity, veracity. So all of such things make them an adjective and not, OUS alone. Yeah, ravenous hunger, in that case, ravenous is a, what do you say, adjective. Okay, but I'm just saying it might not always be the case. Okay, all right. Now, next thing that we need to see is comparison of adjectives. Just look at these sentences. First thing, yes, mango is sweet. That means we are only talking about one person's mango, no? Right? Now look at the second sentence. Yes, mango is sweeter than Purhan. That means maybe Yash has one mango, Purhan has another mango. Okay, this looks like an apple symbol more than a mango, but whatever. Okay, and this is more sweet. Yeah, so this is Yash and this is Purhan's. That means we are comparing between two people. Correct? What is wrong with my pen? We are comparing between two people, correct? Over here, it's only one person. Yeah. Now, what's happening over here? Just mango is sweetest of all. When I'm saying all, this is definitely more than two. Yeah. So this is also comparison, but more than two. This is comparing, but only between two entities. Yeah. So when we are using these degrees, when we are using such kind of a comparison, we call it the degree of an adjective. Okay. Now, since adjectives are definitely not engineers, we'll have good degrees for them. So what is it? First thing, yes, we are going to take it as a simple degree. Okay, see, I have my own names. It's up to you what you want to call it. Okay, to be very, very honest, these are, where is it? Yes, here. I call them the positive, the comparative, and the superlative degrees because that's what I've studied them as. But it's up to you. You can call it simple comparison and comparison between all also. See, I have seen students of 7th standard calling it simple comparison and comparison between all because that's how they understand it. Okay, and this is what I believe in. If you understand the right thing, it's completely fine, whatever you call it. Okay. So when I'm not comparing between anyone, I'm just telling you the quality of one person, it's going to be a positive degree. If I'm comparing between two people, it's going to be a comparative degree. And if I'm comparing between a lot of people, then it's going to be a superlative degree. Now, one thing that you have to remember is that when you're using the superlative degree, it's always going to be preceded by the definite article, the. Okay. Now, this is how you form the comparatives and superlatives. Usually, we form comparatives and superlatives by adding ER and EST. Okay. But sometimes that does not work. For example, bad, worse, worst. Yes. Or maybe over here, little, less, least. Right. So every single time you can't just add ER or EST, things will change. So I would like you to do a small homework if you can. Again, this homework does not need to be submitted to me. This is for your own purpose. All right. Find out what are the exceptions for this ER and EST rule. At least note down 10 to 15 exceptions. Okay. That way you will be able to learn at least 15 words and you'll be able to use them effectively. Okay. Now, there are a few exceptions to the rule. Okay, there are some adjectives that do not admit any comparison because their meaning is already superlative. For example, if I'm saying universal, unique, extreme, perfect, and all, these are all superlative. Okay, so they're not going to admit any kind of a comparison. Okay, second exception is that when a comparison is made in the comparative degree, the thing that is compared should be excluded from the group. Okay, it's like this. Iron is more useful than any other metal or all other metals. Okay. Third one. When a comparison is made in the superlative degree, the thing that is compared should be included in the group of things. For example, if I'm saying it's the best of all, in that case, I have to say iron is the most useful of all metals. Okay. Now, these are a few exceptions. Okay. It's not going to be a very big deal. Yes. Now, in adjectives, the last thing is about articles. As we've seen, articles are a special type of adjectives, and they have only three articles that are there. First type of articles are known as definite articles. Second type is known as indefinite articles. Definite articles are going to have, what do you say, a and, sorry, definite article is going to be the, indefinite article is going to be a and. Okay. Why is this indefinite? Because they do not refer to a particular thing. These do not refer to a particular thing. When I'm saying the, I should have a strong notion in my mind, which thing am I talking about? Is that clear? Guys, is all of this clear? If you have any doubts, please take 2 minutes, type in all your doubts, let me clear the doubts, and then we'll end this class. This is all for today. In next class, I'll be taking either statements and assumptions, or since most of you have done with it, I might continue with grammar. Whatever it is, Mr. Suraj Chawla will let me know and I'll take the class accordingly. Okay? All right. So no doubts. Can we end this class here? Abhi, please redirect that to Mr. Suraj Chawla. You want definite and indefinite example with an adjective. Okay, sure. I will tell you about definite and indefinite example with an adjective, no problem. So let me just first clear all this ink on the screen. And let me say, who asked me this stuff? Prahlad, which section do you belong to? Or which branch do you belong to? Mech. Okay, cool. So let me say, a mechanical student asked me the doubt. Now, Prahlad, when I'm saying a mechanical student asked me his doubt, are you sure that that mechanical student are you only? Or can there be any other mechanical student also? So there can be another mechanical student also, no? Who might have asked me his doubt. Yes. So that is why, because I'm not able to tell exactly which person that is, this is going to be indefinite, Nana. Definite ante ఖచ్చితంగా చెప్పగలగడం. Indefinite ante ఖచ్చితంగా చెప్పలేకపోవడం ఎవరు అన్నది. Okay, so this is going to be indefinite, Nana. All right. Now, because your doubt is cleared, now if I say the mech student's doubt is cleared, the mech student has his doubt cleared. Now I know it is you only. Because over here, we found out that who is that mech student who is asking the doubt. Okay, so the is used only when I know whom I am talking about. A or an are used depending on who it is. We don't know. Is there any trick to use a and an? Yeah, sure. So listen, phonetic sounds. In English, again, as I told you guys earlier only, English did not start with written language. English only started with sounds. For that matter, every language started with sounds. So if you have any phonetic sound, okay, like A, E, O, U, I, or A, I, O, U. That's the way you guys have remembered that, right? So A, E, I, O, U. So if any of your words are starting with these sounds, okay, like umbrella, so that's like right? So whenever such sounds are coming, you have to use and. Whenever consonant sounds are coming, any other sound except for these 5 sounds, you have to use a. Is that clear? Pratyush? Okay. Prahlad, sir, then if I say bring me an apple, I should understand this is an apple, which can be any apple. Yes, yes, obviously. If there are like 5 to 6 apples, you can eat any apple, no? అంటే ఆ apples లో ఒక్క యాపిలే కావాలని ఏం లేదు కదా. Now, if you want to tell specifically one apple, the apple which is maybe big, bring it. అలా చెప్పుకోవచ్చు. లేకపోతే an apple. Okay? All right, guys. So with that, I'll end this class for today. I hope all of you understood pronouns and adjectives. I'll again see you tomorrow. Tada. Bye bye. Have a good day. It's beautiful weather. Please go outside onto your terrace. Stay home, but you can still enjoy the nature from your home. Okay? Maybe read a small comic book or read news, whatever it is. Stay home and stay safe. Okay? Tada.